You're on Short Final, Ireland's aviation podcast from Squawk 7000. Here's Mark Dwyer and Michael Cummin.
Welcome to episode 54 of Short Final from Squawk 7000. On this week's podcast, Lufthansa starts a new service from Cork Airport. We'll hear from Alan Phelan about the Portlaoise Plane, and Irish Community Air Ambulance take delivery of their new helicopter.
Lufthansa has started a new twice-weekly service from Frankfurt to Cork, served by a Bombardier CRJ-900 aircraft operating Mondays and Fridays. The flight will depart from Frankfurt Airport at 15:40 local time, arriving at Cork Airport at 16:45. The return flight departs Cork at 17:25, landing in Frankfurt at 20:30 local time, a flight time of 2 hours and 5 minutes. This new Lufthansa operation will complement the existing Swiss International Airlines service, with both airlines offering seamless connectivity through their Lufthansa group hubs at Frankfurt and Zurich respectively. It's been 18 years since Lufthansa last operated flights from Cork Airport.
Scottish airline Logan Air has announced a new 4 times weekly service from Aberdeen to Dublin starting on the 5th of September. The new route replaces the Stobart Air service, which was lost following their collapse 2 weeks ago. The new route will be operated on a Monday, Thursday, Friday and Sunday initially, increasing to a daily service on March 2022 and will increase to 9 services per week in April with 2 services on a Monday and Friday. Logan Air has served Dublin for many years, but this will be the first since its Inverness service was suspended last year. Both Inverness and Teesside will also be on the Logan Air network from Dublin next summer.
At Aer Lingus, David Shepherd, the Chief Commercial Officer, is to leave the company and take up a new position at IAG Cargo. Mr. Shepherd has held the position since 2019. Before this, he worked in several management roles at IAG Cargo, including Commercial Director and Director of Digital Ventures. He will take up the new role from the 1st of August.
Ryanair's new Boeing 737-8200 entered service last week on the Dublin to Stansted route. The flight was operated by Ryanair's chief pilot, Captain Aidan Murray, and First Officer Francis Quinn on Echo India Hotel Echo November. The aircraft has remained at Stansted for engineering training, while sister ship Echo Zulu has been operating passenger services from London Stansted. It's understood that another Boeing 737-8200 will be delivered to the airline this week.
And staying with Ryanair, the airline has announced a new route from Shannon to Turin. In the last week, Ryanair has restarted operations from the airport with services to Barcelona Reus, Stansted, Gatwick, Kaunas, Krakow, Wrocław, Warsaw Modlin and Manchester. Ryanair will now be flying 18 weekly services from Shannon, with more expected to be added after the 19th of July when travel restrictions ease further. Shannon has had no scheduled services for the last few months. Still, the airport has remained open for transit traffic of executive aircraft, cargo traffic, maintenance visitors and Coast Guard helicopter operations. The new winter service between Turin and Shannon will run weekly on Saturdays starting on the 18th of December through to the 26th of March. In addition, Ryanair has recently announced a new base at Turin with up to 32 routes operating to the airport. They will have 2 based aircraft and over 120 flights departing per week. Turin will be the airline's 16th Italian base and will serve 13 countries as well as domestic Italian routes.
Norwegian Airlines has announced the appointment of Geir Karlsson as the new CEO to the airline, as a vote of the board removed former CEO Jakob Schramm. The new appointment is effective immediately. 56-year-old Karlsson has held the position of Chief Financial Officer since April 2018. From July to December 2019, he was acting Chief Executive Officer of the airline and has extensive experience with listed companies within the shipping and offshore sectors. The future of the Irish-based unit Norwegian Air International has come under scrutiny despite having only emerged from examinership in April. Around 50 people are employed in the Irish operation, but staff recently received letters from the company suggesting that significant changes will be made within the organisation. A spokesperson has denied that the Irish operation will be wound up, but did suggest that the company would need to be right-sized as it progressed into the future.
And we'll be back with more aviation news in just a moment. Northern Ireland's Economy Minister Paul Frew has announced a £4.5 million initiative to support air connectivity between Northern Ireland and Great Britain. As part of the Minister's Economic Recovery Action Plan, the Northern Ireland Domestic Aviation Kickstart Scheme will support airlines to help Northern Ireland's economic recovery from COVID by maintaining and enhancing domestic air connectivity between the 3 local airports and Great Britain. Invest Northern Ireland will administer the scheme on behalf of the Department for the Economy. The financial assistance is time-bound between the 1st of June and the 31st of October this year, and the news of the investment programme has been warmly welcomed by all 3 commercial airports in Northern Ireland.
Back in April of this year, we heard of plans to restore the Portlaoise Plane when we spoke with Alan Phelan and Teddy Fennelly, chairman of the Colonel Fitzmaurice Commemorative Society. Alan is back with us now for an update. Alan, welcome back to Squawk 7000. Hard to believe it was last April when we spoke last about the Portlaoise Plane. You're going to update us on the plane itself, what's been happening in the past few weeks.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, so last Wednesday week, we paid a visit to Athboy, County Meath, and it's where the restoration project is taking place under the watchful tutelage of Brendan Donoghue and Johnny Malloy, two expert aircraft restorers. So yeah, we had some representatives from Laois County Council, Laois Heritage to view the plane. And this is the first step towards the kind of repatriation from County Meath to County Laois. Over the next few weeks, we hope to have the plane back down in Portlaoise sometime the middle to the end of July. So that was the reason for the visit. We had an update from Brendan on the latest restoration work. We have an engine coming all the way. It's a replica engine coming all the way from Dallas, Texas, from a company called Kip Lankanow, who's an expert in restoring old aircraft and engines. We had a propeller also kindly donated by Brendan Donoghue. So it's all coming together, and like I said, the plan is to get it back in Portlaoise mid to the end of July.
And for those who didn't actually catch our earlier podcast, a brief history of the airplane itself, because it goes back a fair long time.
Yeah, I mean, go back to 1907 actually, and it was constructed in Portlaoise by a family called the Aldrets, who had one of the first motor garages in Ireland. They built the first motor car in Ireland, I believe. And they also introduced underfloor heating to cars long before it was heard about here. But yeah, they were into all sorts of engineering feats, and they were very keen to build an airplane, having seen the Wright brothers, obviously, only a couple of years previously. And I think Frank Aldrich went to the first aircraft show in Blackpool in 1906, 1907. So he came back and had the intention to build and fly a plane. And the connection with Fitzmaurice is that Fitzmaurice grew up in Portlaoise and happened to come across this project. And this is where he got his passion for aviation, we believe, in the first place.
Will the airplane fly again?
Definitely not. It is an antique, put it like that. It was in pretty poor shape when we recovered it from the UK. So with the help of Brendan Donoghue and Johnny Malloy, they have reconstructed it to what we believe it looked like when it did its attempted takeoff back in 1907, 1910, that time frame. We have some newspaper reports that there was an attempt at flight, and Fitzmaurice himself in his own writings actually witnessed, he said. To cap that all off, we actually got a guy from Queen's University, Belfast, to put it through a flight simulator. And with some minor adjustments, it flew in the flight simulator.
With a strange centre of gravity, if I recall.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it was about? Alan, if people want to find out a little bit more, where can they go?
We have a website called portlaoiseplane.com. You'll also find us on Facebook, Famous Fitz. So there's a Facebook page dedicated to Fitzmaurice. And in the local newspapers, Leinster Express and Laois Today, you'll see updates coming along as we kind of get towards Heritage Week in August is also a big target for us. We want to do a few little events around Heritage Week in Portlaoise in August.
Alan Phelan, thanks for joining us on Short Final.
Michael, thank you.
And finally this week, the Irish Community Air Ambulance has taken delivery of a Leonardo 109S helicopter at its Cork base. The helicopter, Redshirt Golf Hotel Echo Mike Zulu, was delivered to Rathcoole Airfield on the 18th of June, having previously operated as an air ambulance in the UK since 2010 with Sloan Helicopters. The charity HeliMed service has responded to almost 1,000 incidents since it was established in July 2019. Cardiac arrests account for most incidents so far this year, followed by road traffic collisions and farming accidents. The new aircraft, which has already entered service, offers more speed, greater patient comfort, and it can take on more fuel, increasing endurance and range. The 109S can travel at up to 300 km per hour and can fly the length of the country from Mizen to Mallinhead in a little over 90 minutes. The same journey by road would take 8 hours. To learn more about the Irish Community Air Ambulance, take a listen to our long final edition that we recorded in May.
Thanks, Mark, and you'll find these stories and more on flyinginireland.com. And a reminder that you can listen to our long final editions too. This week we'll be talking with pilot Paolo Masolini, born in Zambia, soloed at 15, and now in Kinsale running the Flying Poet coffee shop. You'll find that episode wherever you get your podcasts and on our site, squawk7000.ie. As always, thanks for listening as we pass over the 20,000 individual downloads this week since we began back in December. We'll be taking a short break to get in some fun flying in July. Still, with over 26 long episodes to listen to, with some great aviation stories, you won't be stuck. And we'll be taking the microphone with us to some of the airfields over the next few weeks and gathering a few more stories for those long autumn evenings. Thanks for listening.